Hello, everybody. Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night, but you can't move? You can't scream. You can't even twitch a muscle. And then you see it standing in the darkness, a tall, shadowy figure with a distinctive wide-brimmed hat. No face, no features, just an empty void. This is the Hatman, a figure from modern folklore who has haunted the nightmares of countless people around the world. But who is he? And why do so many people see the exact same thing? I make videos about creepypastas, scary stories, and all things paranormal. If you like those kinds of videos, then please hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out. Who is the Hatman? The Hatman is one of the most well-known figures within the broader category of shadow people. While shadow people are often described as fleeting, indistinct blurs in your peripheral vision, the Hatman is different. He's solid, defined, and consistently described with a few key features. An abnormally tall stature, often 6 to 8 feet, a wide-brimmed hat, which can be a fedora, a top hat, or a gaucho hat, and sometimes a long trench coat or cloak. His face is always a featureless void, a black emptiness where a face should be. How people see him. The Hatman is typically seen, but sometimes heard. In the majority of cases, the Hatman's appearance coincides with sleep paralysis. That's a state where your mind is awake, but your body is temporarily paralyzed. This is actually a normal part of the sleep cycle where your brain transitions between REM sleep and wakefulness. But sometimes it malfunctions. Your brain goes into REM sleep, but your body doesn't get the memo. So instead of being able to move and talk, you're frozen. During sleep paralysis, people often experience vivid, realistic hallucinations. Some people see a winged creature with huge eyes and razor-sharp claws. Others see a shadowy humanoid. Many see the Hatman, who looms over the bed, stands in a doorway, or just watches from a corner of the room. The feeling he brings is almost universally described as one of intense dread and malevolence. But not everyone sees him while they're sleeping. Some people have reported seeing the Hatman while they're wide awake, standing in a hallway, or even across the street during the day. This is why many believers argue he's more than just a hallucination. Encounters and stories. The Hatman sightings are so numerous and detailed that there are now databases of Hatman experiences online. As you might expect, most of the stories come from the United States and other English-speaking countries, but there are a few from other parts of the world, indicating this may be a worldwide phenomenon. Here are a few examples. One Reddit user recounted the following. It was about 2 a.m. and I was awoken by a pressure on my chest. I couldn't move. Then I saw the shadow of a tall man with a wide-brimmed hat standing at the foot of my bed. I tried to scream, but I couldn't make a sound. The figure didn't move or acknowledge me in any way. Then it vanished after about 10 or 15 minutes. Another user wrote this. The first time I saw him, I was lying in bed next to my husband and I nudged him to wake him up so I could tell him something. When I turned to him, I noticed a tall, thin, dark shape looming at the foot of the bed. I nudged my husband again, and he turned and saw it too. We both sat up, and the figure floated down the hall. I don't think there is any doubt in my mind that we both saw it because he still teases me about how freaked out I was. Some people even report seeing the Hatman during the day. Here's one such account from a website called Unsealed. I was driving home from visiting my girlfriend at about 7 p.m. It was dark outside. I had been driving for about 10 minutes, and I was on a fairly straight road. Looking ahead of me, I saw a tall, dark figure walking on the side of the road. It wasn't unusual to see people walking along this road, but something about this person caught my attention. As I drove past, I saw that it was a man wearing a wide-brimmed hat. His shoulders were slumped and he was keeping his head down. I slowed down and rolled down my window to ask if he was okay. As I got closer, I saw that the man was extremely tall, at least 8 feet. He was also very thin. I stopped the car and asked if he wanted a ride. But as I got out of the car, I noticed a strange smell, like stale sewage. I started to back away when suddenly the man raised his head and looked directly at me. His face was completely black with no eyes, nose, or mouth. I turned and ran to my car. As I got in the car and locked the doors, I heard footsteps running on the roof of my car. I sped away. Theories and explanations. There are two competing theories about who or what the Hatman is. The first explanation is rooted in science, and the second is steeped in lore. The scientific explanation attributes the Hatman to sleep paralysis hallucinations. Dr. Erlacher Rucker, a psychologist and expert on sleep paralysis, says that hallucinations during sleep paralysis are often disturbing. When your brain goes into REM sleep, it activates areas associated with emotions and creativity, but shuts down the prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for rational thinking, she said. So when your brain goes into REM sleep and your prefrontal cortex is still active, it's like a battle between two parts of the brain. The result is often hallucinations that can be pretty intense. Psychologist Dr. Michael Schredel agrees. Sleep paralysis is a transitional state between wakefulness and sleep, and hallucinations are common, he said. They can be visual, auditory, tactile, or even olfactory. People experience all kinds of things. Sometimes it's a flying monkey, sometimes it's the Hatman. But why does the Hatman appear so often? Why is he such a prevalent figure in sleep paralysis? Some believe it comes down to cultural priming. The Hatman has appeared in books, TV shows, movies, and most notably, the internet. There are websites and forums dedicated to him. There are thousands of YouTube videos about him. In fact, you probably clicked on this video after seeing it recommended alongside another video about the Hatman. With all that exposure, it's no wonder that when your brain is hallucinating a shadow figure, it defaults to the Hatman. After all, he's the character we've all collectively created through our stories and our fears. But not everybody believes the Hatman is a product of the modern age. Paranormal investigators claim he's been around a lot longer. According to paranormal researcher Brian Bethel, the Hatman has roots in ancient mythology. He's basically a tricksy spirit or demon that preys on people's fears, he said. He's often depicted with a tall, black hat, which symbolizes death and the afterlife. He's like a grim reaper without the scythe. He's here to collect souls. Other researchers believe the Hatman is an interdimensional being, a predator that stalks our world when we're asleep. Most descriptions of the Hatman come from people who experienced sleep paralysis, but not all of them do. Some people have reported seeing the Hatman while they're wide awake. That suggests he's not just a product of the sleep paralysis state. Instead, it could be evidence that he is a real entity feeding on our negative emotions and preying on our vulnerabilities. In the end, it's up to you to decide what you believe. Is the Hatman a hallucination brought on by sleep paralysis? Or is he a real, malevolent entity? Maybe he's a little bit of both. Whatever he is, the Hatman taps into our deepest fears of the unknown. He's the monster in the corner, the shadow in the doorway, a silent reminder of how vulnerable we are when we're at our most defenseless. He's a modern-day boogeyman, and his legend continues to grow. If you want to read more about the Hatman, I'll provide more information in the description. Thank you for watching, and if you want to hear more stories like these, stay tuned. I'll see you next time.